Io sono labile. Vabbè, sì. Perfetto. A posto? Grazie mille.
Grazie. Where are we? Where are we, Daniel?
Well, we're where we
Where
were.
are we?
Were we here last night?
Yeah.
Well, we stayed here last night. But we didn't do any kind of video from here, did we?
A bit late, we are quite late.
We took some small pictures.
What a spot.
We are under, as I said last night, under the Colle del Paradiso, under the Hill of Paradise. I think it's paradise.
We are in paradise.
We've been in paradise today in Assisi.
We have. We had a very nice rest day. They're not all like this. I did go and do the laundry.
Yes, you did.
Did a laundry
very
run
selflessly.
this morning.
Fantastic Gregario.
Did all your red pants.
All my running gear.
Now we're here preparing to record our press conference episode. But before we do, preparing, meticulously researching and phoning contacts.
Will there be any? There's been a bit of that. Will there be any? Are there any questions about basilicas? I took you on a nice tour, a lovely tour of the Basilica of San Francesco.
I regret to inform you that an awful lot of the questions are about cycling and the Giro.
Okay, that's
no, but before we get on to that, Daniel, we
pouncing around Umbria. That's what
we do
have
some.
To talk about.
We do have some quick fire questions from Eddie Davidson, who says greetings from Alabama. Loving the podcast. Thank you, Eddie. And he's listed 6 quick fire questions. We like this, Eddie. I'm sure you mentioned who the opening song is from in the episodes, but I missed it. Who is the artist?
The artists are our great friends, long-time friends, Amara Terra, whose musical origins are very much in Puglia, in the heel of Italy, in the Salento region, and they do a kind of music, pizzica music, which is typical of that region.
And that song is called Cozzi. And we did an episode with Amara Terra, released just before Christmas, in conversation with the band, who have been providing our Giro soundtrack since 2016. Question 2: what are your favourite of these small towns that you have visited, and why?
This is good. This is the kind of content I'm here for.
Answers?
For which small towns?
Well, what are your
multiple choice?
Well, what are your favourite? What's your favourite town that we've been through so far in this Giro?
Oh well, we sort of.
Oh, I see. You thought there was going to be a list.
Yeah, I thought it was a multiple choice, and we brushed by a couple of them yesterday. I said yesterday that Umbria was probably my favourite Italian region, and Trevi and Spello, both of them kind of similar. In something slightly unusual about the towns in Umbria compared to Tuscany. In Tuscany, the town's always right on top of a hill, like on a conical hill. Generally, in Umbria, they're almost sort of embedded in the hillside. That's the case of Assisi. It's not the case of Trevi, but it's certainly the case of Spello. We passed it yesterday, didn't we? It was just glistening in the twilight.
Favorite things you have eaten so far? Favorite meal, perhaps? I think I'll nominate last night's meal here in Assisi.
What did you have?
Well, I had what did I have?
Oh God! I had
the veal with rosemary potatoes, but what did I have for a starter?
What pasta did you have? Didn't you have the strangozzi? No, I had strangozzi. You had capellacci.
Capellacci. You were saying that all the pastas in every region are given different names, even if they're the same.
Well, do you know what? I hope at some point, maybe even during the course of tonight's press conference, we might be joined, but maybe a waiter will swing by or a waitress during the press conference, and I want them to lay out the difference between. And this is just 2 regions now I'm covering: strangozzi, picci, tonnarelli, and spaghetti alla chitarra, and they're all pretty much, any layperson would say they're identical, like thick spaghetti. One type is a little bit squarer than the other, but they're almost indistinguishable.
It's just macaroni for me when I was growing up.
Mezze maniche at lunchtime, which are literally half sleeves, but they are
they're not literally half sleeves.
Well, yeah.
How are they?
Well, the literal translation is half sleeves, but they're rigatoni. Yeah. And rigatoni are longer, and but they're similar. Mezze maniche, if you can imagine half a rigatone, that's a kind of a mezzo.
Well, that was very nice too. Favourite wines you've had so far?
Well,
these are great questions, Eddie.
We've got an Orvieto Classico. I don't usually drink that much white.
Orvieto is very nearby, isn't it?
Yes.
I used to cycle there when I lived or spent time in Perugia.
It's quite a long way from Perugia.
We were talking about this the other day. You spent time there as well in the, I guess, early 2000s. I was there in the late 90s. And we were wondering.
About 1999, I was there.
We were wondering. Oh, I just missed you then. I was there
What
the
a
year
shame.
before that.
What a shame.
But I was wondering how I got around with only a map.
Yeah, we were talking about that, and I've got vivid memories of having the Touring Club Italiano map stuffed in my pocket, big thick thing for Umbria.
Inner tube strapped round your shoulder.
Yeah, fantastic thing.
Channeling Gino Bartoli.
Just on Orvieto quickly, Rich, we had a message on Instagram, or I did yesterday. I mentioned this whole sort of conga line of fantastic Umbrian towns, and that was really referring to the road we did yesterday. So it goes Spoleto, Foligno, Spello, Assisi. Rieti is a bit. Rieti is actually in Lazio. That was before all those, but I mentioned those ones, and then you get to Perugia. But if you take a sort of different line through Umbria, well, someone asked me why I didn't include Orvieto, and that's because there's this sort of different sort of almost bloodline of Umbrian towns. That's Orvieto, Città della Pieve, which is sensational, not that many people know about it, and then Todi as well.
Can Daniele Frappuccino, I like how you've adopted the new nickname there, do another impression of Peter Sagan?
Non lo so, the thing about Sagan is that he speaks good Italian, but he's got a really strong Veneto accent. He spent time in Treviso, which, if I have an Italian accent, it's from that area, that neck of the woods as well. It's probably not the most attractive. It's quite nasal. And
I've noticed that. It's interesting you've got an accent. Is that because you spent a lot of time there?
Yeah, I mean, my Italian accent is kind of oscillates between Milan and that Padova, really. And it's funny, I was talking to...
I hadn't picked up on that.
Well, I spoke to Giada Borgato, who's the subject of our Kilometre Zero that came out yesterday. She's from Padova as well. And we sort of exchanged jokes.
To the vernacular.
Padovano jokes.
Eddie, finally a question I can answer. Who does the driving from town to town, and how much fear does a passenger have at the same time? I do more driving, partly because I get car sick when I'm a passenger, and especially if I'm a passenger and on my phone or on my computer. On a motorway it's fine, but we're less on motorways in Italy than we are at the Tour de France, it seems, on these transfers from town to town. And so, yeah, I got pretty badly car sick the other day, and we had to stop. And as soon as I'm driving, I'm absolutely fine. So I do a bit more driving. But who do you think is more fearful when the other is driving?
I don't know. We'll speak for yourself. I think, Richard, you're quite a bolshy driver. You're a very confident driver.
Bolshy is not
overconfident.
Oh no!
But you're competent. Confident.
It's always in control. Finally, Maria Griffin also emailed. She asked a question about Simon Yates. We'll hear about him or from him in our press conference episode, which will be released as a podcast this evening. But her second question is: Daniel Friebe getting kickbacks from the Italian music and wine industry? He should be if he is not. Full transparency, Daniel, are you on the payroll?
No, it's true love. I was thinking about this today when I was running through Assisi. I'm very deeply in love with Italy and food, wine, music,
just sharing
everything.
It for free. Have that, Italy. You can have that on us. Okay, let's record our podcast, shall we?
Yes, we should, Richard.